What if somebody was like, you know what, 24 hours in the kennel. You can come out to use the bathroom. I would not want to see what that felt like. Everybody has their thing that kind of bothers them. For me, it has always been, the thought that there are so many animals in this world that are neglected or outright abused or just not shown, love and care. I just never thought I could do this type of work. I didn't think that I could handle it emotionally. And it's kind of interesting because the opposite has happened. It's like just knowing that, even if you're helping one dog or cat a year, like you are doing something more.
And she knows to do it with her different hands. Stella, shake. Good girl. Stella, shake. Good girl. What a good girl. So smart. So Stella's exactly the kind of dog that we would assume would need to be a level 4. High energy, very smart, has not had any training, so doesn't know about manners. It's not that she's naughty or a bad dog, it's that she's never been taught anything, so she has to learn what it means to be a good dog. And that means leash training, learning how to be appropriate and not jump on people. Good girl. Learning to pay attention to people. Such a good girl.
Okay, there's Gaia, Brandy,
Marley.
Moby,
That's right.
Marley, and then Layla. So it's been 5 that we've gotten adopted. We're working with our 6th one, Duke. So he's not adopted yet.
And then I had a different level 4 group that I worked with previously, and we had 2 dogs that were adopted through that time frame. So to qualify to be a level 4 dog, there's a lot of different behaviors that you can see. Some of it is going to be shyness, being closed off, not being fearful of humans. And then others are going to be on what you almost would say the extreme opposite. So the jumping and the being overly exuberant.
The nippiness and pulling a lot on the leash, which a lot of dogs do anyways. But if you factor that in with all the other things, it makes for a harder to control dog, I guess, that needs the extra help.
So they're pretty much on crazy ends of the spectrum, but it's those dogs that need some extra TLC to go towards the middle, or to get a little bit more middle where they're more adoptable.
So what I'm doing now is seeing how long she can keep her attention on me without being distracted by other stimuli. Yeah. Good girl. And we wait. And we want her to be making direct eye contact with me. Hi, girly. Nice. Good girl. And part of the reason that we work on direct eye contact with these dogs is because a lot of them come in and they haven't had a whole lot of human stimulation or interaction. Good girl. Nice, Stella. And they need to kind of learn how to pay attention to a person, because to them a person doesn't really mean a whole lot.
Stella's story is that she lived her life on a chain, and her shelter was underneath a neighbor's porch. The collar that she had on was metal, and it essentially became embedded in her neck, which means that it's so tight and on so often that her skin grows around it. So the people that had her essentially had 2 choices: to either take her to the vet or surrender her. So she was surrendered and came straight into the shelter, straight into surgery. Stella's beautiful. She's very sweet. She's brilliant. She's probably one of the smartest dogs that I've worked with at the shelter. So she obviously never properly socialized. So almost like, having a 50-pound 2-year-old dog in the body or the mental capacity of a 3-month-old puppy. So there's a learning curve, but it is workable. And she loves snacks. So Those are really good things to have in terms of a quality when you're working with a dog.
The level 4 program serves as that life or death for a lot of dogs. A kill shelter doesn't have an option on dogs that they take in. Kill shelters are taking in all these dogs. They have facilities normally, so they have a lot more in kennels and large areas like our shelter here, so that the dogs aren't in that home environment, so they have different behavioral challenges than they do in other places.
Consider my efforts, yes, to be above and beyond, like, say, the average volunteer who is not a level 4, because it does take more commitment, more time, more energy, more intention, I guess, because you're there not just to like walk the dogs, which is fantastic because I do that too, but it's just for more of a specific reason to work with whatever dog you're working with and get them to be more adoptable. So yeah, I think the level 4 program is definitely above and beyond. That's why it is level 4.
Down. No. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Down. Oh, okay. Good girl. There was a little bit of a combo shaken down, but definitely the spirit of it was there, huh? Oh, you got one stuck in your throat? Nice and patient. What a good girl. Down. No force involved in any of this. This is all positive reinforcement training. She gets treats for doing the right thing, and she gets ignored when she does the wrong thing.
I've definitely committed a lot of time to the program. Being attached to the dogs does benefit that in some way, because then you want to be there as much as you can to help them and spend time with them and love on them, and it's an advantage to the program. One of the most challenging things about being a level 4 volunteer is not getting attached, which, let's be real, you get attached, I get attached. That honestly, that is the hardest thing, because with the behaviors and, you know, getting them more confident, like, not that that's easy, but it can be worked on. Whereas like the attachment, like, that's just like an automatic given thing. I can't help it. Like when Marley left, like, I cried.
I've never really sat down to figure out what my cost is. For most people, the financial commitment of volunteering is very minimal. You're looking at, you know, $15 for a t-shirt, and then the commitment to be a volunteer at the shelter is 8 hours a month, which most people break down to 2 hours a week, and the shifts are usually in 2 hours. So it's very minimal. You know, and then if you want to do more, you can do more. So I would say, you know, financially, and for me, I mean, even if I spent $1,000 a month on doing what I'm doing, I don't think about it. I mean, it's 100% worth it to me, and I've never really blinked an eye at it. And I feel like it's worth it for them.
Absolutely. It helps the dogs. It helps yourself. Like, it's made such a huge difference in my life. But yeah, absolutely, it definitely makes a difference to the dogs because they're getting adopted. They're adjusting, their behaviors are getting adjusted, or their confidence is growing, and it's just spending the time with them and working with them. It's just making them more adoptable in the long run.
You know, my favorite saying in rescue is slow and steady wins the race. You know, you want to think that you can save every single animal, but for me, it's just that slow and steady focus on one at a time. And seeing them change, seeing them grow, and then seeing them in a home where it's almost like that was where they were meant to be. And you were allowed the gift of helping them step by step get to that home. It's just incredibly rewarding.